What's going on,
All right.
SML? We're back. SML Countdown. We've got another Guess the OC with another special guest. We got AJ here. We've got Straw here, and then we've got our special guest waiting. So let's jump right into it. Um, so you get to steal one offensive player and one defensive player from anywhere in the league. We've heard a lot of talk about abilities and how important they are. What one offensive player and what one defensive player are you taking? We'll start with you, Straw.
Uh, for offense, just because I want to see what it was like, I think I would probably go with Justin Herbert. I'd take him and see what that experience is like having Justin Herbert and seeing a guy like that who can sling the ball like that. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later. I had him for one of the sections later on to talk a little bit about Pete, but I got to draft him and build him up, and I noticed that just he still throws the same kind of errant throws that he did when I drafted him, even though he's 96, 97 overall. So I'd love to have Justin Herbert, see what that's like. For defense, I would love to have Aaron Donald from retirement. That'd be really nice. But I picked. I'd probably go with Patrick Surtain. I haven't had any I haven't really had any good like lockdown corners. Every defensive back that I've had has been drafted, and they never seem to play like their skill says. I have Jalen Ramsey this cycle, which has been a lot of fun. He regressed a bit, but it's still been cool seeing what a lockdown corner is like. So I'd pick Patrick Surtain with his abilities and with how he looked in the game so far. I would love to have a corner like that. So that'd be the two I go for offense and defense.
Okay, AJ, who do your offense and defense?
For offense, I think I'd have to go with Bijan, simply because I think he's like the perfect mix of power back and elusive back. The guy's a bowling ball. He's fast. He's got jukebox. I mean, he's like the perfect. If you built the running back uh, in a lab somewhere, I feel like that's what you'd want. So Bijan probably be offense. Defense. I went with Fred Warner, simply because he's got Lurker, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, and I'm sure you have. I'm being sarcastic. Linebackers are useless in pass coverage,
Yeah.
unless somebody's throwing it directly at you. I don't know if you've seen Lurker activate, but it's kind of insane. It's a better animation than the DBs get. So since there's only I don't even know any other linebackers that have the ability, to be honest. Since there's only a select few that have it, he'd be my one on defense.
All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Nobody took an inside stuff guy. Because if I could take one more to add to mine, it would be Jordan Davis. I'd add him to Gaither and have two inside stuff guys. Um, offense, offense. I think I'd agree with Straw. I'm going with one of the quarterbacks. I think I'd go with Burrow. Having Fearless too. I think he'd be the one I'd want. He just has every ability, not just the set feet lead or pass lead elite. Um, so so talking about stealing guys, what's something you learned this cycle that you would take into the next? This is the first cycle where you guys both got to draft your teams, right? But sort of. I mean, Straw, you got yours drafted for you. You got what was left, and you didn't have a ton left to pick from either, AJ, right? So going into the next cycle, maybe what team you're looking at as far as what a team has, or maybe something team building wise. What's something that you kind of learned this year? Because I feel like I learned something every year going into the next one that I want to try. And AJ, what is that for you?
My personal circumstance was, if I were to if for so the guys next year that are gonna get a late draft pick, typically that means you got to maybe a few older players. You don't have many assets. Maybe a few stud young players. But for me, I would try to trade off some of those older guys that may while they still have value,
Mm-hmm.
rather than try to hang on and maybe like, oh, maybe I can throw together a team and compete right off the cuff, but you still can. Um, but if I had to do it again, some of those 29, 30-year-olds, instead of trying to hang on to them for a couple of years and then basically let them walk in free agency because you're not trading them at that point. Um, maybe try to clear those guys off quick, get some draft picks early, go ahead and start, getting the young guys in early and deving them up, um, rather than, trying to string it along later down the cycle.
All right, Straw. What about you?
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was alluding to with the whole Pete situation. I think one thing I realized with this Madden and with this cycle in the Rams team, my players were so bad. I was just like, all right, gotta dev them, gotta grow them. I had Pete, and he started off really, really low. Working with him, I'm like, oh, once I get him good and devved up, X Factor, like is going to be so much better. Some of the same errant passes he threw when I first drafted him, he's still throwing. Like there's things that I realized that just because a player gets better overall and some of these abilities, they don't seem to play at the same level as other players with those same abilities. So like I haven't seen many players use inside stuff like Aaron Donald use inside
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And so with that being said, I might be quicker to like figure out if a player that I have kind of plays to my style or what I'm looking for, and if not, can I ship them off and try to get something for them and do something else with it? Because I think that now that I know, there's some signs and some things that you can see that's like, oh, okay, this player might not be the type of player that I need. Like they might work better in somebody else's system, but
Yeah.
not for how I play. So I'd be quicker to be, and at that point they might still be valuable. So it's like, oh, okay, I can trade them right now. This is a good time to trade them and try to see if I could wheel and deal a little bit more like that. So that's one thing I would do differently to help me team build better and not get stuck with guys that now I feel like nothing I could do with them, but they're also not playing how I need them to play. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think this cycle what I learned more than anything is I'm not as concerned with having draft picks. Usually I like to build through the draft, but you look at the guys you draft, very few of them turn out to be anything really good because of the way they do the developing and the XP and all that. Unless you hit on a guy that's X factor from the start, 20, 21 years old. If he's 23 and a star, he's doomed. Like you're gonna be like maybe an 80s guy. I mean, he's not gonna be much of anything, especially if you'd have to focus him every year. If you're somebody that gets a lot of draft picks, you got to bypass these other rookies or move on quick. So I think draft picks for me aren't going to be as valuable. I'm going to try and get guys that are already established, especially early. I think you can move draft picks for quite a bit of value. There's a lot of guys that like the draft, and then the others stop trading for guys that I develop well. So if I have a position that I can develop, I keep trading for those guys, and I probably should just develop those and get the guys that I can't develop. So that's something I kind of learned, and maybe I'll take in the next cycle. We'll see. But as far as advice, do you have any advice? I know we kind of touched on it, but do you have any advice for the guys that are coming in and they're going to be those guys picking the Rams and the Vikings at the bottom of the draft? This coming team draft. Any advice for them, AJ?
Yeah, I guess I kind of jumped ahead on my last answer, but yeah, you know, take a look real carefully at the draft for one. Even if you only have 4 or 5 teams, just look for the team that you can build earlier, if that makes sense. If you're tied up with a bunch of bad contracts on older players, they look good on paper that first year. Um, but as far as the long-term success of your team, now if you're one of the better players, you can overcome whatever regardless, more than likely. Um, but if you're concerned about building a team that's going to last a cycle, I really consider just go ahead, strip it down from the beginning, as much as you can within reason, and go ahead and get some guys in there, or even just trade for some younger studs that are already established. Um, you know, and build from there. Start the build process earlier rather
Yeah.
than later.
What about you, Star? You 32. You had the Rams given to you, and that was a rough roster. What advice do you
Yeah,
have?
I went more from the psychological approach where I'm like, it may be very, very rough. And so go into it with like I think the best thing that you can do, Madden has its fatigue on you, especially if you're not winning. Plays that you think should be made. I mean, it gets tough when you see other people sort of making these plays, and then you're have the same opportunity, and your guys are falling short, just because your team just isn't built the same as other teams are. I think like it's a really good opportunity to try to like, learn the SML, find content that you really enjoy, like really take the approach to find like, okay, how can I make this team enjoyable? How can I make it fun? I think early on you definitely
Oh yeah.
need that to keep you psyched up and like, okay, all right, this is how I'm gonna do this, and those like little small milestones, um, until your team gets good enough to be able to compete. And like you said, AJ, if you're good enough, you'll be able to like overcome a lot. But I do think that mental fatigue of Madden and trying to get your team better, and everybody's team is exponentially getting better while yours is like incrementally
Yeah.
getting better. Um, Finding some ways to keep making it fun and enjoyable, and finding different players that you're trying to dev up, and seeing them grow and stuff like that. That was helpful for me while grinding it out. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, in a Super Bowl season 1 probably didn't hurt. I mean, that helps a little bit, right?
For sure.
All right. So, while we've talked about the new guys and given them some advice, of the guys that have joined this cycle, and it's not just the most recent ones. We're talking all the way back to Torque, Filthy Wine, Stavo, KP, Noobs, and Larry, and I think that's probably it. If not, they're probably not very memorable. Um, of those guys that joined this cycle, we've heard on other shows, and it's been in chat that the SML will adapt to you, and if you can't adapt as well, you're probably gonna sink instead of swim. Who of this group do you think is gonna have the most success? We'll start with you, Straw.
Oh, this is a really, really good group. I think I've had a chance at some point to play everyone. I haven't played Noobs and Stavo yet in the SML, but I've played them before in Primer. This is a good, strong group of players. But I'm gonna have to go with my division mate here, Larry. I've had a chance to play him twice now. Um, he had two really, really impressive games back to back that then got a lot of great buzz in
Yeah.
chat, beating me and then beating Prime. I came back and then beat him in a close one, but I can tell like we're really, really going to be going back and forth a lot the rest of the cycle. And I think that the pressure is going to come in. We're going to see what happens, but he inherited a great defense, but that
Yeah.
offense is not he didn't get that great of an offense. So it'd be really curious to see what happens when he gets to build the team how he wants. Um, but his defense is definitely lights out. So I'm gonna go with Larry. I think he's gonna make a lot of noise and have a lot of success next cycle.
All right. What about you, AJ?
So I've had a chance to play every single one of these guys. Shared a division with Larry. I think I shared a division with Noobs last before I got called up. Um, Anyways, I've played all these guys, and nobody's gonna like this pick because everybody likes to pick on the young kid and the punk kid that wins Super Bowls in Prime or whatever. But I'm gonna go with Noobs, man. I mean, he hasn't lost a game yet already, which I know it's very early. Um, I've seen him play enough. He does adapt his gameplay almost every season, depending on who his players are. So I don't necessarily think you can get a book on the guy. You might can get some tendencies on him, but um, Noobs is good, man. He's one of those guys he's in college. Probably all of his free time outside of studying and stuff is freaking Madden. So um, just watch out for Noobs, man. Don't underestimate him, even though he's a tap dancing teenager who can't even go to the bar and buy a beer yet. But Noobs would be my pick.
Yeah, I mean he's the one that's had the most success so far. He's consistently had a lot of success in Primer, so I think that would be my pick as well. And he got a good team too. That
Yeah.
Saints roster is really good, so I think he'll probably be the one to have the most success going forward. The question would be, he's had his issues. We'll see if he can maintain his spot going forward. But I think if he does, I think he's
Yeah.
going to be a problem. All right, so let's go on to the top plays. We had a couple good ones. I'll start with my top play. My top play here was QP, and he throws this seam to the tight end, who somehow the tight end catches it. Every time I throw this to anybody, they drop it. But his tight end holds on to it, and it ends up being the game winner with like 20 seconds left. So I'm gonna go with QP for my top play. Straw, who did you pick?
Yeah, I went with Matt here. I feel like every time we do this, we see plays that we haven't seen before, and I started seeing more of these start popping up.
Yeah.
But this is just ridiculous. Like The fact that it bounced off his running back's hands and Ninjigma was able to come around and catch it. Surprised that he didn't make it into the end zone with how crazy that bounce catch was, but just crazy to see that animation. Usually you just see it like bounce to the floor and no one catches it. So I thought that was super crazy.
Yeah, and it's not even like it's where it's stopped in a pile. Like Njigba catches it on the run. Or he doesn't even break stride.
Yeah.
Just keeps going. All right, AJ, your top play?
So I'm gonna give this one to me since this was an impressive play. Not so much stick skills or anything, but just the guy just refused to go down.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I don't ever get animations like this with my running back. And this is I think he's a second year player. So watch out for Hitchens. He may be one of those cracked players, created players that gives everybody fits.
Yeah, I think I've seen all those moves except for that spin move, and definitely not all together. He just kind of spins right out of it. If I'm Tiny, I'm upset, and he's already upset after today. So hopefully he doesn't watch this. But you guys can vote on those in the comments. See who you think is going to be the winner this time. But next up, we've got Guess the OC. And I'm letting our special guest know that he can join. Because we've got Name the OC, and our special guest was gonna be NFL player Jimmy Ward, but he backed out at the last second. So instead, we've got Primetime 000. What's going on, Prime?
Let's go.
Prime, is there anything you want to say before we get started?
I just want to say, Dan, I'm coming for you, you bum. You're a bum. But anyway, that's not about that today.
All right. So you know the drill. We've run this, I think, twice now. AJ, who do you have for us in round one?
All right. So round one, we have strong H slot, halfback stretch, strong Y off, 866 hook, pistol doubles, PA boot, gun Y off trips weak, slant Y corner, gun trio, halfback weak, verts, gun normal Y off close slants, single back bunch, X nasty, HB slash. So the choices we got are doink, tiny, filthy, and wine. Bomber, why don't you go first?
All right. So whoever it is started the drive off with a stretch. And then they went strong. They passed out from under center, pistol double. I mean, we've got a little bit of everything. The only thing they didn't do was run out of shotgun. I'm gonna go with Tiny on this one. I think he's one he tries to not run out of shotgun. Maybe he's a little self-conscious about it. So I'm gonna go with Tiny.
All right, Straw.
Oh man, yeah, this one is a tough one. The variety of it, I think I'm gonna go with Doink on this one. I think this might be Doink.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I've got it nailed down between Doink and Tiny. And I'm going to go with Doink as well, actually. The PA early, play 3, Doink's a PA guy.
Well, that is a good
All
one.
right, well, the answer is, drum roll, it is Tiny.
Yes.
Tiny,
Uh,
Tiny.
All right.
She's
Off to a
actually-
good start.
It was actually his game against me most recently, so
that was
I don't
good,
know.
Bum.
The verts probably would have alerted me a little bit to Tiny. Tiny loves the verts.
He does like
I've
those.
noticed.
But I think that's just about everybody this year. That's why that would have been a tough one.
Yeah.
Pretty good variety of play calls there.
Yeah.
I'll give it to
Yeah, it's
him.
good variety.
All right. Round 2.
All right, we have gun box slot trail, gun tray Y flex inside post out, strong wing mountain zone weak, high form wing halfback stretch, single back tight Y off halfback dive, gun split flanker close read option, gun tight Y off weak hammer dagger. The options we have KJ, Mike, Torque, and Woods. All right, Prime, I'm gonna let you go first. Yeah.
I've got it between Mike and Woods, and I'm going to go with Woods. I'm going to go with Woods.
Okay, draw.
Yeah, the read I would have also thrown KJ in this, but the read option is where I throw him out of it, and so I think I think it's Mike. I think it's got to be Mike.
Okay,
All
Bomber.
right. So you read that way too fast for that to be KJ. If that's KJ, we're still on play 3. So I'm gonna have to say, The read option, same thing that Prime and Straw said. I want to narrow it down to Mike and Woods because they've got the 2 running quarterbacks. I'm going to go with Torque, though. I think it's going to be Torque.
Uh-oh.
All right. The answer is Mike. Mike FML.
Hey.
Oh, Straw. Nice job.
That makes Bomber and Straw tied at 1. Prime is trailing behind with 0 points at the
All right,
moment.
well,
I
we got
wasn't
3 more to
prepared for
go,
this.
so plenty of time to catch up. Round 3.
All right. We have Gun Bunch, Strong Nasty Inside Zone. Gun Bunch, Strong Nasty PA Corner. Gun Stack, Y Flex Drive Wheel. Single Back Ace Pair Stick. Pistol Strong Slot Fade Smash. One of my favorites. Gun White Trips Weak, Clear Out. Gun Bunch, Strong Nasty, Corner Out Dig. Options are Knoll, NYT, Doink, and Fig. Straw, I'm going to let you lead off with this one.
Who likes that bunch strong nasty formation? That's 3 times they lined up in that formation. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna go with on this one. I'm gonna go with Fig.
Okay. Bomber?
All right, so I was actually trying to figure out who I'm going to eliminate because it's probably easier to pick one to take out. And Fig was the first one that stuck out that I could eliminate because there's 1 running play in 7 plays, and I just don't think Fig would be that pass happy as much as he hates Josh Allen.
It can't run, though. He says it
He
all the
can't
time.
run. That's true, but I mean, he can't really pass either. I played Knoll. I don't think Knoll did just lose his halfback, so he could run, 6 passing plays. I'm gonna go with Doink though. He's got the set feet lead. I'm gonna go Knoll. Just go Knoll. That was my first guess. So stick with it.
Right.
I'm going NYT. The 3 formations in the first 7 plays, that strikes me as like an NYT move there. Tired from the carnival, playing late, making a decision like that.
Man, the odds of all of you choosing the incorrect answers are
Son
pretty
of a
slim,
bitch.
but exactly what y'all did. Bomber, you had it right.
I did,
You had it
yeah.
right. And you,
Always go with your gut.
the answer was Doink.
Hey.
All right. So nobody got that one. That's good. I'll take a half if we tie. All right, round 4.
All right, round 4 for all the marbles. Single back wide trips, halfback zone alert bubble. Single back bunch X nasty wide zone. I form slot halfback stretch. I form close to zone weak. Gun doubles halfback angle. Gun doubles offset weak. Slot post. Gun doubles offset weak. I think I had a typo there. I think that's called switch. There's actually one more round. I got ahead of myself here. So, well, Bomber, why don't you go first on this one?
All right, so we're starting out with 4 runs, and then a halfback angle. Oh, it could be Finn's, but I'm gonna go with Gilbert on this one. Gilbert likes to run. He'll be down 40 points, and he'll still be running, because he definitely runs better than he passes. So I'm gonna go with Gilbert in this one. The only thing that's gonna throw me off is I don't know if Gilbert's ever had a 7-play drive, and that could be a problem. But I'm gonna go with Gilbert here.
Oh, poor Gilbert catching strays. All right, Straw.
That was one of the first things I was thinking too was, all right, so the first 4 plays had to work. They had to get a first down off of those run plays and then keep it going. So I'm thinking who also has capability, the run game to be able to get that there. I'm gonna go with KP on this one.
Okay.
All right, Lime.
I'm gonna go with Gutta. I don't think KP runs that much outside. I don't think Finns would go outside as much to start a game. Gutta, I think would, and I think I've seen someone be passive aggressive in chat one time saying Gutta likes angle routes, so I see halfback angle there.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I just noticed that you have play 2 and 3 are basically a stretch, probably left and a stretch right. I'm gonna stick with
Well, the
Gilbert
answer
though.
is time is on the board, and we have a 3-way tie.
Oh,
We have a 3-way tie.
Man, that was good. Dang.
all right. that brings us to round 5, which is going to be
All
for the win.
right. We have single back, wing tight, halfback power. Weak H, close off, flanker drive. I form pro, halfback lead dive. Pistol U off trips, strong power. Gun deuce close. Corner goes flat. Pistol bunch tight end. Fake jet inside zone. Single back wing slot, inside cross. We got Wine, NYT, Orc, and Coop. This is going to be a tough one. Straw, I'm going to have you go first.
All right. Oh man. Okay. Ooh. I'm gonna have to go with. And this is for all the marbles. Okay, I'm just gonna pick. I'm not even gonna give my reasoning. I'm going with NYT.
Okay. All right.
I really don't know. I'm gonna go with.
right,
I'm gonna go with Torque.
I'm going to give y'all a hint. I'm going to allow you to change your answer too, Straw. I don't want a 3-way tie. That would be
Okay.
stupid. Okay. He scored on gun deuce close. Corner goes flat. I don't know if y'all have seen corner goes flat. It's 2 stop and go routes to the outside. It's the most silliest play I've ever seen run on like the 6-yard. Okay.
It's wine.
Okay. Straw, do you want to change your answer?
I'm going with Coop.
Okay. Palmer?
This one sucks to pick last. I'm gonna go with fuck it. I'll go NYT, so I'm different.
All right. The answer is Coop.
Wow.
The hint must have gave it away for Straw.
With just the
watching
silliness of the play, I was
I'm
like,
like,
that's got to be.
one who calls this play? We got 2 stop and goes on the outside. And he
Rigged.
calls it on like the 7-yard line and scores somehow. I don't know.
That wasn't the game against me, was it?
Go routes don't even work, in my opinion.
I'm like, that's totally a Coop thing to do.
Yeah.
I can see him on stream talking. Yeah, that's such a Coop thing.
Yeah. Well, Straw's our winner for Guess the OC. Congratulations, Straw.
All right, so Straw's gonna be our winner. That's gonna do it for our episode. Prime, thanks for being on. If there's any more shots you want to take it, Dan, before we sign off, you feel free to do so.
Yeah, Dan, just so you know, you're about to see the God I once was. You're a bum.
All right, there you have it. So thanks for being on, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys vote on the top play in the comments. And until next time, it's been SML Countdown.